Let me tell you something about that 1%, that little number that most people ignore, overlook, or laugh off. It's not flashy. It won't get you a standing ovation. Nobody's going to post about it on social media. But that 1%, that's the crack of light in a dark room. That's the extra second you hold on when everything in you wants to let go. That 1% is the choice to show up when it's hard, to try again when you failed yesterday, to speak up when your voice shakes. It's not about changing your life overnight. It's about changing it one honest moment at a time. You see, greatness doesn't come from sudden explosions. It comes from steady sparks. Sparks you light every single day. One push up when you don't feel like it. One page read when your mind is tired. One phone call made when you'd rather be silent. The world will tell you to hustle hard, go big, dream massive. But they forget to tell you real change, lasting change, is quiet. It's in the mornings you get out of bed just 5 minutes earlier. It's in the nights you choose discipline over comfort. That's the 1%, and it stacks up. Every drop matters. You look back after 6 months, a year, and you won't even recognize the person you were. You'll be sharper, stronger, calmer, more alive. Not because of some grand event, but because you honored the small. Because you believed in the power of just doing a little better today than you did yesterday. That 1% becomes your edge, your fuel, your foundation. It's how you build something that lasts. Something no one can take from you. So don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for permission. Just take the next small step and keep stepping. Let's talk about that 1%. That quiet, humble little number that most people ignore. It doesn't sound like much, does it? Just 1%. Feels like it won't make a dent, like it won't move the needle. But that's the trick. That's the deception. See, we're so used to chasing big wins, overnight success, instant results, we forget that the real power, the kind that lasts, isn't found in the dramatic. It's found in the consistent. Just 1% better every day. You do the math, you'll see it's not just about getting a little better. It's about changing the entire trajectory of your life. 1% every day doesn't make you 37% better after a year. It makes you 37 times better. That's not a small improvement, that's a transformation. That's the difference between someone living with purpose and someone stuck on autopilot. You might not see it at first. You might not feel it in the moment. But 1% starts stacking. It starts growing. And before you know it, the person you were is a distant memory. You walk different, talk different, think different. And people start asking, what happened to you? And you'll know you showed up every day when it didn't feel like it mattered, and then that made all the difference. Now flip that coin. What happens if you let yourself get just 1% worse every day? You don't even notice it at first. Skip the workout. Put off the call. Let fear win. Say, I'll do it tomorrow enough times, and suddenly tomorrow's a year gone by. 1% worse every day. That's not a slow decline. That's a collapse in slow motion. And the scary thing, you'll only feel it when it's too late, when the damage is done, when you look in the mirror and don't recognize who's looking back. That's why this 1% matters more than you think. It's not about numbers. It's about direction. Are you moving forward or falling behind? Because life doesn't stand still. Every decision you make is either a deposit into your future or a debt you'll have to pay later. The power of compounding doesn't care who you are. It just works quietly, relentlessly, like gravity pulling you somewhere, whether you realize it or not. You ever see someone who seems like they've got it all together? Calm in chaos, focused under pressure, confident without arrogance. That's not luck. That's the result of small choices repeated. Habits, discipline, values compounded over time. Same with the greats. The ones who leave a mark. They didn't wake up legendary. They just refused to settle. They chose to get a little better every single day, even when no one was watching. That's how fortunes are built. That's how character is forged. That's how lives are changed. So yeah, that 1%, it matters. It matters more than you'll ever know until you start giving it everything you've got. You see, the reason so many people give up on changing their lives isn't because they don't have potential. It's because they try to change everything all at once. They think the only way to win is to do it all immediately. So they set impossible standards. Wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym 7 days a week, read 50 books, meditate, launch a business, quit sugar, fix every flaw they see in the mirror by Friday. And when they can't keep up with that madness, they quit, they crash. And they walk away thinking they're weak, like they're not built for success. But the truth is, they were just reaching for too much too fast. That's not growth. That's burnout dressed as ambition. Let me bring you back to a story, real, powerful, and full of truth. There was this British cycling team. For almost a century, they were the laughing stock of the sport. Sponsors didn't want their name anywhere near them. Bike companies refused to sell them gear, worried their reputation would be damaged just by association. That's how bad it was. Then came a new coach. Now, this man didn't walk in with some grand speech, some massive overhaul plan. No, he asked one simple question: where can we get 1% better? Not 100%, not even 10%, just one. So they started making small changes, tiny, almost unnoticeable to the outside eye. They redesigned their seats so riders could be just a little more comfortable, switched to lighter uniforms, taught the athletes how to wash their hands better so they wouldn't get sick, traveled with their own pillows to make sure they slept better. Nothing earth-shattering, just small, steady, intentional improvements. But here's where it gets good. Within 5 years, that team, the one nobody wanted to claim dominated the Olympics, won more than 60% of the gold medals in cycling. Then they took over the Tour de France year after year. And they didn't do it with superhumans or magic. They did it with consistent, small steps that added up to something massive. That's what the 1% rule is all about. You don't need to flip your whole life upside down. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Start with one thing, one habit, one change. Because when you improve one thing, it spills into the next. You sleep better, so you focus better. You focus better, so you work better. You work better, so you feel more confident. It's a domino effect, and it starts with one tiny push. So if you're tired of starting over, tired of feeling overwhelmed, tired of thinking change is impossible, stop looking at the mountain. Just find the next step. That's all. You don't need to change everything. You just need to change one thing. And once you do that, do it again. That's how the impossible becomes inevitable. You want to know how you start. You start right where you are. Not when the timing is perfect. Not when you've got more money or more energy or when the stars align. You start today. You start now. Because the truth is, the perfect moment you're waiting for, it doesn't exist. It's not coming. And it's not supposed to. Change doesn't wait on comfort. It waits on courage. And all it takes is one decision. One real, honest decision to do something, anything, that makes you just 1% better than you were yesterday. You don't need permission. You don't need a fancy plan or the latest self-help book or a gym membership or 1 million followers. You need a moment of truth with yourself. And in that moment, you ask one question: what can I do today that gets me a little closer to who I want to be? That's it. Want better health? Don't go sign up for a marathon. Drop and do 10 push-ups. Just 10. That's your win today. Want more wisdom? Don't try to read a book in one night. Read 2 pages. That's enough. That's momentum. Want to be more confident? You don't need to own the whole room. Just speak up once. Say what you believe, even if your voice shakes. That's your growth. Want better relationships? Don't wait for the right words. Pick up the phone. Call someone. Check in. Ask how they're really doing. Want more discipline? Start small. Make your bed. Not because it's life-changing, but because you said you would. And keeping your word to yourself. That's powerful. You want to beat procrastination. Don't try to finish everything at once. Sit down, work for 5 focused minutes. That's it. No distractions. Just 5 minutes of real effort. And what you'll find is once you start, something inside you wakes up. That spark you've been looking for. It shows up after you move, not before. The mistake people make is thinking small actions don't matter. They think if it doesn't shake the earth, it's not worth doing. But I'm telling you, it's the small things that build giants. It's the little disciplines, the quiet wins, the unseen efforts. That's what creates something unstoppable. One brick at a time. You stack them day by day until one day you look back and you've built a foundation so strong, nothing can shake it. You don't need to change the world today. You just need to change something. One thing, one choice. And when you do, do it again tomorrow. Let the world keep chasing shortcuts. You're building a legacy, 1% at a time. Let's be honest, some days you're not going to feel like doing anything. You'll wake up tired. Your body will ache. Your mind will talk you out of every good thing you plan to do. And you'll start to believe that voice. This is too slow. It's not working. What's the point? That voice is real and it's loud. But it's not the truth. See, the people who make it, The ones who really win in life, they're not fueled by hype. They're not riding a wave of constant motivation. No, they win because they keep going even when they don't feel like it. They show up on the hard days. They push through the boring days. They stay consistent when nobody's clapping. That's the difference. It's not about being fired up every morning. It's about building habits that carry you when the fire goes out. You think champions get excited every time they train. You think leaders are always in the mood to lead. Of course not. But they've built systems, routines, habits that don't rely on feelings. They do the work because it's who they are now. It's automatic. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up and say, wow, I'm so motivated to brush today. No, you do it without thinking. You don't need a reward. You don't need a speech. You just do it. That's what your 1% habits should become. Automatic victories, quiet wins that no one sees, but you feel. That's the kind of power you build when discipline takes over where motivation leaves off. So instead of chasing a spark, build a routine. Build a system that works on the good days and the bad. Build a plan that doesn't fall apart when life gets messy. Because life will get messy, storms will come, pressure will rise, you'll get tired, you'll get frustrated. But if you've got strong habits, you've got something to hold on to. You've got something solid beneath your feet. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need to make big leaps. You don't need to move mountains. You just need to take one small step every day. And that step becomes a habit. That habit becomes your lifestyle. That lifestyle becomes your identity. And before you know it, you've built a version of yourself that you can look in the mirror and be proud of. Not because you were perfect. Not because you were the most motivated person in the room, but because you kept showing up. You kept your promise to yourself. That's the real flex. That's the real strength. Not the loud moment, not the hype, the quiet discipline, the daily effort, the small win that no one claps for, but you know it's there. That's what separates those who talk about change from those who live it. Habits will take you further than motivation ever could. Close your eyes for a moment. Go ahead. Picture yourself 1 year from now, not just older, but wiser, stronger, calmer, sharper, standing with your shoulders back, looking life in the eye like you've got nothing to prove and nothing to hide. That version of you didn't just show up overnight. It wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was built piece by piece, choice by choice, by the quiet, unseen work you're doing right now when nobody's watching and nobody's clapping. That future version of you isn't a fantasy. It's a reflection of your daily decisions, the ones that feel small, the ones you think don't matter, but they do. One better choice today becomes two tomorrow. One extra rep, even when you're tired. One honest conversation instead of silence. One tougher decision when it would have been easier to quit. That's how the future gets built, not in the big moments, but in the ones we often ignore. You won't remember every win along the way. Some victories will feel so small they'll slip by unnoticed, but they're stacking. They're compounding. Every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you say not yet instead of I give up, you're laying another brick in the foundation of who you're becoming. And someday that version of you, the one who kept going, will look back and say, I'm glad you didn't give up. I'm glad you believed when it was hard to. I'm proud of you. The truth is, most people won't see your grind. They won't feel your struggle, but your future self, they'll feel everything. Every ounce of discipline, every late night you stayed the course, every early morning you didn't hit snooze. That version of you is counting on this version of you to step up, to not let another year go by filled with regret and excuses, to stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating change right now. Don't chase perfection. Chase progress, 1%, one step, one breath at a time. Some days it'll feel like nothing's changing, like you're stuck in the same place. But what you can't see is that slow motion is still motion. You're building something real, something that lasts. And when the world finally sees the results, they'll call it a breakthrough. But you'll know it wasn't one big moment. It was hundreds of small ones, quiet decisions, lonely choices, invisible work. And that's the difference between the dreamer and the doer. One waits for change. The other creates it brick by brick, step by step, year by year. So today, you've got a decision to make, not for who you are now, but for who you're becoming. Because 1 year from now, someone is going to stand in your place. And the question is, will they be thanking you or wishing you had started? Make sure they're proud. Start now. So let me leave you with something real, something simple, something powerful. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop chasing the image, the applause, the approval. Perfection is a moving target. And even if you hit it, it never lasts. You don't need to be the best in the room. You don't need to outrun everybody else. You just need to outrun who you were yesterday. Just be better. Not perfect, not untouchable. Just better, even by 1%, because better beats perfect every time. Perfect can freeze you in place. It makes you overthink, hesitate, question every move. But better moves, better learns, and better grows. And growth, that's what this life is really about. Not showing the world how flawless you are, but showing yourself how far you've come. Every single day, that small step forward, it's louder than any applause you'll ever get. That's real progress. That's the good stuff. And don't get it twisted. Potential is not enough. You can have all the talent, all the intelligence, all the big dreams in the world. But if you don't move, if you don't take action, if you don't commit to even the smallest step, then all that potential, it dies unused. Progress beats potential every time. The world doesn't change for people who might do something. It changes for people who do, people who try, people who fail and get back up. People who don't wait for motivation. They build habits. They move forward even when it's uncomfortable. So I'm asking you, don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for things to calm down, for life to get easier, for the fear to disappear. Life doesn't hand you the green light. You give it to yourself. Start today, right here, right now, with what you have, where you are, with who you are. No more excuses. No more some days. Just one small step in the right direction. It might not feel like much, but one small step today, plus another tomorrow, and another the day after that. That's momentum. That's a new path. That's a new life forming, quietly, slowly, powerfully. And if you stay with it, if you keep going, you won't just grow, you'll evolve. You'll become the kind of person who doesn't just talk about change, you live it. You breathe it, you embody it. Every giant leap you've ever dreamed of starts with one tiny, ordinary, unnoticed step. That's your 1%. That's your power. And if you stay faithful to that, if you never stop, never settle, you'll become something no one can deny. You'll become unstoppable.